Thinking critically, thinking the Jet way. This presentation reflects the most recent manager development series covered in March, teaching Jet process managers how to think critically to properly analyze and solve problems that they faced in their day-to-day work. What is critical thinking? Critical thinking is rationally and clearly analyzing a problem or situation to determine the best possible solution with the most systematic approach. So essentially, critical thinking is with a level head, taking a problem, taking an issue, taking an idea, breaking it down, and analyzing the pieces. There's multiple pieces of it. Why, how, who, when, all of it deals with effect. Why does it affect them? How does it affect them? When does it affect them? Who is it that is being affected? And then taking that and determining the best possible solution to reduce that effect and improve a process, an idea, or a situation very analytically, very systematically, rather than just essentially throwing up on the process and saying, here it is, here's my solution, do it. How do we think critically? As I said, we need to take a problem and break it down. Every problem has multiple causes that come from multiple sources. One person may do something that causes the problem, while another person may do something differently and the problem is still caused. So then we need to ultimately find the root. Analyze what caused the problem. That's finding the root cause. Most problems have 5 whys. Why did they happen? Every time you ask why did this problem happen, you answer it. So then you answer, why did this problem happen? Well, this problem happened because of X. Well, why was X a factor? Well, X was a factor because of Y. Well, why was Y a factor? And you continue it on, and essentially you break down to the very core cause of that problem. You understand how it affects our associates. Ultimately, thinking critically is tying in a rational solution, a easy A to B solution, but bringing in the associate viewpoint, because they're the ones who are going to do the day-to-day work. They're the ones who are going to bring the problem. They're the ones who are going to face it every day. Then we need to determine and evaluate the possible solutions. Essentially, that ties in with how it affects our associates. There's going to be multiple solutions to the problem. We need to pick the one that's best for the business and best for the associate. If it's best for the associate, odds are it's best for the business. Then we need to test the practicality of the solution. Thinking critically has to have a practical application. If you're solving a problem, there has to be a means to an end. So your means has to actually solve the problem. If it doesn't, then it's not thought out well. So thinking critically also has a practical application at the very end. When do we need to think critically at JET? When handling associate feedback on a process. They can't just have a quick and dirty answer. You need to address the associate's issue with the process, handling systematic issues, and developing plans of action. These things happen, but you can't run around like a chicken with your head cut off or your hair's on fire. Optimizing the process. Optimizing the process does not involve you. It involves the associate and their feedback. However, associate feedback compared with how things must be done in order to achieve the goal don't always correlate. So there has to be a critical thinking bridge built between those 2 points. Then resolving interdepartment conflict. Not every situation that you have with associates in 2 different departments, with managers in 2 different departments, with processes conflicting, can be resolved in 2 to 3 sentences of discussion. It involves a lot of thought. Why do we need to think critically? Because thinking critically prevents rash decisions. Thinking critically also allows for practical application of ideas. Thinking critically allows for someone to understand the root cause and to make processes bulletproof. Examples of critical thinking at JET. An associate brings up a concern with the picking process. Sometimes we as managers will find ourselves in a position where we take what the associate brought up and we compartmentalize it, or we try to solve it immediately and say like, oh yeah, you just need to do this. Well, what if they really truly bring to the table an actual legitimate issue that needs resolved that will improve the process. Then we need to take down what they said, figure out where does it fall. Does it fall on a high priority of fixing? Does it fall on a low priority of fixing? If it's a high priority of fixing, what needs to go into it? And then breaking it down from there. There's a chance that you will miss orders for the day. Our business revolves on us having on-time delivery. So oftentimes, missing orders is like threat level midnight, and everything goes into chaos mode. But in order to prevent missing orders, there must be a logical thought process in between it. There might be a quick thought of throw everybody at it. There might be a quick thought of, well, we're just going to miss them. Critical thinking bridges the gap between those and comes up with the best possible solution. Pickers are getting slowed down while having to pick in the vertical racking. This is a problem we're facing a lot right now, and some of the common solutions we've heard are, it's going to happen. Well, it's going to happen doesn't have a time frame to it. It's going to happen means that we're going to deal with it. Now, someone who wants to take the time to build out a logical model and understand why things are slowing down in the racking and why pickers are having this issue could then resolve it through the process of critical thinking and analyzing the problem and determining the best possible solutions. Thor shut down and there is no response from the back-end engineers. Again, much like missing orders, this is a chaos mode. But there are multiple means to thinking and breaking this process down and understanding this problem that will prevent someone from going, oh no, we're going to miss everything. There's a means to keep our associates busy and occupied while handling the issue and preparing for the best possible outcome when the system does come back up. And that is how you break out that process, through critical thinking. Critical thinking is often associated with PDCA, plan, do, check, act. Critical thinking takes that process of planning, where you understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to resolve some root cause. You're figuring out what you're going to do to solve that problem. You're checking, you're validating whether that's going to work. And then finally, you're acting, you're doing it. We ask our team members to refer to their CI binder when they need assistance in regards to this. And that is how you think the Jet way. That is how you think critically while working at Jet.